Welcome to Perusing's Appraisers on Purpose podcast. Our podcast showcases inspiring appraisers and professionals from the industry who are leaders in their field. How did they get to where they are? What have they learned along the way? What can we learn from them? Your host is real estate investor, entrepreneur, and appraiser, Michael Hobbs.
Welcome to another exciting, engaging, and informative episode of Perusing's Appraisers on Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Michael Hobbs, and I am really excited. As we do so many times on so many of our episodes, we have a first of a kind experience. Today is totally one of those. And because it's video, unlike so many of our earlier first, almost, if you will, decade of our podcast, our first 10 seasons that were all audio, you already know what I'm talking about. But before that, I got to ask you to do what only you can do, because at last measure, somewhere between 57 and 63% of you love the content, but have not yet hit the subscribe button. And I know you're going to like this one, so you can just start right now and hit it, because Taylor and Gavin are with us. But guys, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Since we're on video, it's a little bit different introduction. Why don't you let everybody know who's who? Because otherwise they're like, is it Gavin and Taylor or Taylor and Gavin?
Okay. Black shirt is Taylor. Yep. Green shirt is Gavin. So green for Gavin, and you're just going to have to go black for Taylor.
I love it. See, that would be even funnier. You're like, I'm Gavin, and so's he. You're
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
okay.
Yeah. Halfway through, we'll be like, remember, green shirt is Taylor. Well, they used to do that.
And just in fairness, because we didn't have the whole Curd herd last time we were together, we just had one of the two distinguished brothers, and then we talked trash about the one that wasn't there. So I just want to offer a public, small apology for having fun at one of the brothers' expense. But it was so much fun. Didn't we have a good time?
It was a blast.
Totally. Gavin, thanks for joining us, buddy. Appreciate
it.
But Gavin, the same question we had asked your brother before, and that was, hey, were you born this way? Or what's your perspective on how you got into the appraisal and valuation profession?
Probably pretty similar to what he answered. I'm not fully aware, but I watched the episode, but I heard a lot of it. For us, we went to school at IU, Indiana University, for finance, basically real estate in general, and we had a professor there, Jeff, and Mr. Fisher, and he told us that they would be really good for us to get into that business. He thought our brains worked that way, and that would be something we looked into. So we said, hey, let's do it.
Love it. Love it. And now, since we have both of you here there, and maybe your answer is different, Gavin, and we'll honor your answer whether we agree with it or not. And that was, which of you did Jeffrey like more?
He told me in privacy that it was me. Yeah, he pulled me aside and said, I don't. Yeah, exactly.
Which is weird, because he wrote me a very beautiful letter.
Oh, did he?
Telling me that I was his favorite.
Yeah. That's. I had a hunch this could happen. We were just getting a chance to connect. I have a small sense of understanding of the similarity of human beings. I have two nieces that are seniors. I think they're seniors at University of Denver this year, and on more than many occasions over 2 decades of life, I've totally screwed up which one's which. Oh, yeah. And I remember growing up in school, there were, I think it was the Prather twins, 2 girls that were twins, and I never could tell them apart. So I assume you guys can tell each other apart.
Yeah, most days I can tell.
And even family and stuff, they can all say we look very different. Once you know us long enough, they're like, you guys are very different.
And probably personalities are a little different.
Oh, very different. I love both my nieces, but they're like one's a little more, a bit more shy, the other's a bit more outgoing. One, like they have different choice styles of clothes. Both they're sharp, but like one has, you just see like, oh, you clearly know which one is one of my nieces versus the other, even if you can't see them, because they typically have the same hairstyle. You're like, that does not make it easier when they have longer than mine, and it's, like, could you at least have different hairstyles? They're like, nope. You're like, love you.
We had different hair for a long time. Now it's a little more similar, but for a long time
I had the long hair in college.
Yeah, he did. He had the long hair.
Oh, that's impressive. That's impressive. And yet, Jeffrey still thought well of you.
Yes,
he did. At least he said he did.
He could see. Maybe he saw past things. He saw past things. That makes a total difference. Wow. So in that case, Gavin, did you ever consider not going in that direction, given that apparently Jeffrey liked both of you?
Not really. I was pretty excited about it because I honestly did want to start at least out of college, start our own thing, see how it went. you're at that age, you can try something. If it fails, that's okay. You move back on,
Yeah,
you do
absolutely.
something different. But found it really exciting, and I agreed with him. I enjoyed the real estate classes. I enjoyed the finance side of it. I enjoyed all that. So
Mhm.
I was pretty gung ho about it to start.
And did you ever consider not doing residential or only doing residential?
When we started, we were concentrating mostly on residential. We did look into commercial. We went to a couple of meetings with commercial properties and stuff. We never really branched into it too much. We did a couple with another guy, but never
Yeah,
really branched into it as much as we did
got it.
residential.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. For those that don't know, you guys are in the Indianapolis market area. There's an abundance of residential properties.
There are, and there's a lot of investment activity.
Yeah, and it's a
There
really
is.
very affordable state with so there's a lot of investment, even in outside
Yeah, out of state investors.
state investors buying a lot of properties. That's more
Yeah.
recent than it was in our past, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so,
And then, if I'm not mistaken, just on that note, because I happen to live in the state of Illinois, which is sandwiched between Wisconsin and Indiana from the standpoint of political perspectives and fiscal performance. So Indiana is in a much better fiscal position than the state of Illinois.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
they've done pretty good.
yeah, they've done
Yeah.
a good job. I've been pretty proud of Indiana, and obviously the football team. But,
And the football team. Let's
you
not
more-
forget,
yeah, more importantly,
go Hoosiers. I thought I would never say that as
I
someone
know,
who
it's
also
wild.
attended school in the state of Indiana, but that was cool to see.
yeah,
That was really
there was a
nice.
lot of Chicago people at IU.
Yeah, there really were.
Yeah, that and
I'm from Louisville,
they're having a good
Kentucky.
time.
There were a lot of people from Louisville at
Yeah.
That's- and that in Little Five. As long as you graduated in 5 or 6 years, you were successful. That was the key.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
awesome. We
That
made
was
it.
good. I love it. So, Gavin, did you ever consider that you'd be working apart from your brother, or Taylor said what Taylor said, and you can just whisper it so he doesn't listen? But what's your take on these things?
No, I honestly, the crazy thing is, I assumed it would work out. Like, it was our plan to start a company, and we were going to work together. And I really haven't had a thought much about it otherwise. It just I'm a positive thinker, so I just assume and do what I can to make it work out. So yeah, there really
Love
wasn't a whole lot of other thought in it.
And then, because this is such a unique opportunity for us here on the Perusings podcast, not just that you're family, but of course that you guys are twins. How do you all decide work and assignment and responsibilities? And do you both do the exact same thing, or do you intentionally take a divide and conquer approach, or
Yeah,
you like toss the coin and be like, "Oh, I win this time"?
It depends on the client. 'Cause,
Okay.
like he does.
Certain clients have
Certain
more
clients
relationships with one
have
of
a
us.
different relationship with each of us.
Oh,
So,
okay.
obviously, I can't if it's a Gavin order, he has to do it. If it's my order, I have to do it. But there are things like I do more of the content
Day-to-day.
marketing
Mhm.
type stuff. He does a little more of the appraisal work.
Oh, okay.
And so we delineate it that way, kind of
Yeah,
like
I have
operations.
a higher percentage of the actual inspection, the actual reports.
Yeah.
Not a bunch higher, but a higher percentage of it, and he does a higher percentage of the day-to-day, the
Oh, okay.
marketing, things like that.
And I've been looking into UAD 3.6
Yeah.
more. So then
Oh,
I'll
nice.
learn all of it and then teach him what I know. And then when he looks at it, he can say, "Oh, you missed this." So we try to delineate it that way, like the
That's
bigger
nice.
business tax that way. But on the appraisal
Yeah.
front, we each have our own
Depends on who they were.
appraisals. And then we have one office manager and then one part-time person that helps us a little bit.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. And then, for those that don't know the metro area, how big of a geography do you guys cover?
It's probably larger than most, only because Indiana, there's Marion County, which is where a majority of the
Mhm.
density is, and then the surrounding 8 counties. So it could be an hour drive basically
Yeah.
in
Okay.
any direction from Marion County. So
Yeah, it's 9 total counties. So it's
Yeah.
basically just the entire MSA.
Got it. And then you pretty much concentrate like 80-20 in Marion, and then what orders
yes.
show up in
Marion, Johnson, Hamilton, Hendricks
Yeah.
are the big 4. Really,
Yeah.
Marion's the biggest, but because we're in Johnson County, so Marion,
okay.
Johnson, Hamilton, those 4 really cover the vast majority of them.
Got it. And so is that inside the Beltway or outside the Beltway?
well, it's
865,
outside, we're
465?
south.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
We're
south.
right. Yeah, we're south of
Oh, okay.
465. where
Yeah.
we're located, and then that's where most of you just basically takes 465 to everything.
Yeah, it's just one big circle.
Got it. No, that's fantastic. Wow. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. And then, given that you all are so similar, now this was cool, and I did not know this. My natural observation is that I looked to something that I had some experience with or familiarity with and applied that to the circumstance here in reference to my nieces. I'm like, oh, you guys are identical twins. And you're like, Michael, not exactly. It's a little different than that. But share with us. And this is a cool education point. And I was like, all right, fill me in on this. How does this go?
From what we were told at a young age, we're considered for our whole lives fraternal, because at the time when we were born, they didn't have it was basically identical fraternal. And something we need to look it up and find out what it actually is. Something in our blood was different, or our gene. There's one thing different that delineates us. And from what I understand now, is we're called semi-identical. So we're mostly identical, but there's some indication that makes us not quite identical.
Got it. That
Change the categories on us.
Amazing whether it's there or not. All right. Hey, the good news is you guys. So for those inquiring minds want to know, so who was born first?
I was. Taylor was.
I knew it was.
3 minutes.
3 minutes older and wiser.
I can tell, like the older brother. That's the way it goes. Yeah, because Gavin's just more fun. That's the way. That's the way the younger brothers typically go.
He's the crazy young one.
Yeah, it's the way it goes. Those 3 minutes make all the difference in the world. Oh my goodness! Given that this is a unique opportunity, and I appreciate y'all sharing a bit of your own insight and personal experiences as siblings and family working together, you all didn't have a parental figure in the industry. It was because of your experience, if I recall what Taylor said, around going to the university and being exposed to the industry because of a professor that got you all in. A lot of times people in the generation you're in are there because of family, be a father, maybe a mother, maybe an uncle, could even be a grandparent, but that's not the case for you guys at all.
Yeah. Our dad was in the real estate industry, but not in appraisal in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, I didn't know a lot about appraisal until college. Not much about
Got it.
at all.
And you want to just remind everybody, Gavin, a little bit about what your dad did?
When we were younger, he sold homes for a builder.
Yep.
And then for most of our life, he was a loan officer for multiple banks.
Got it. Yep. So he definitely had an understanding that there's a thing called appraisal out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, I think he always was a little tight-lipped. Like he was kind of like, yeah, appraisers are cool. I think he didn't want to give us his full opinion, but.
Oh my gosh. Does he still feel the same way about appraisal and appraisers?
He passed, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
He probably still does.
Yeah.
How far along were you guys along in the industry before he passed?
Yeah. It was somewhere. It wasn't recently, but we were into our professional lives.
Yeah, his first, because his first Graham was 2.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we were established
7 years ago, 8 years ago.
Oh, okay. Because I figured, did he not have eyes on prying at least one of you into the family path of fortunes from mortgage origination?
He would have liked it. He was easygoing.
Yeah,
we could have done anything, and he would have been happy. Like he really was just even keeled. Just nothing ever got to him, and he was happy no matter what. So
that's great.
Yeah,
That's encouraging to hear.
I don't think he ever thought we'd be in real estate.
No, he really didn't.
Thought we'd probably be like doctors or something like that.
Yeah, y'all could have been like double Doogie Howser kind of thing.
Exactly.
There you go.
Little old school reference there for the young people. They have no idea what I'm talking about.
But not on the young side. I know who Doogie is.
Yeah, you can just look it up on the internet. He'll be there.
They would know him.
NPH. They know him as
NPH.
NPH.
They know him as NPH. They know him from
How I Met Your Mother.
Kumar and.
Yep, that's exactly. That's it. So, given your all's experience, and I appreciate you sharing a little bit about a little more focus one way or the other for each of you. Gavin, we'd love to hear your perspective on the industry at this point in time. Taylor was generous enough to share a bit about your family history. I encourage everyone to go back and listen just to that great episode that Taylor shared with us about his experience along the way. And Gavin, we'd love to get your take on your progression through the industry to where you've gotten to now.
It's obviously right now, for a lot of the listeners, they probably understand it's a very turbulent time in the industry with 3.6 coming out and just a lot of the changes that have been made. Obviously, AMC's now, which we work a lot with.
Mhm.
It has been interesting to see the way it has grown because when we started with in our trainee period, it was mostly with a local bank. Like he worked mostly with local people. A
Mhm.
bit starting in the AMC kind of area, and then obviously it moved more towards larger institutions like AMC sending the orders, and then now obviously with 3.6 coming out and it's in flux, whether fees, the report, everything, it's still up in the air. It's a
Yeah.
very interesting time in the industry, and I'm
Yeah.
super interested to see where it ends up, and hopefully everyone survives. But it'll be
It's a lot.
it's just a lot going on. It's
Yeah.
in the 20 some years we've been doing this is probably the most like unknown maybe feeling of the industry that I can remember.
Mhm.
At the
Yeah,
current time.
I appreciate you touching on that. That is something I've definitely had a number of short and long conversations over. More so just being in the conversation, sometimes just listening ear. But I'm curious from your all's perspective because a lot of our listeners have been in the industry for more time, more decades, if you will, than you
Oh
guys
yeah.
have been. When something like this is coming up, do you all see it as a Niagara Falls moment where it's like we're going over the edge in a barrel? Or do you see it more like maybe because from a timing standpoint, you guys are old enough to remember whether you like were active in the workplace or not, the Y2K experience. Like we know that there's something on the other side. We just don't exactly know what it is. And it's uncertain, but we think we're going to make it, but we're not really sure until we get there. What's your all's perspective? Because you all do offer, if you'll allow me, a more youthful perspective than a lot of the guests that we've had on over the last 12 seasons.
80% of all businesses fail within 5 years, according to the US Census Bureau. With so many roles and responsibilities that must be managed and have nothing to do with appraisal reports, is it any surprise that it's hard to keep up? Much less having a sense of peace, stability, and profitability that comes from growing your business? Given all of this, you might already be thinking about exiting your business one day. Don't miss the limited opportunity to work with Michael, a real estate expert and professional coach. He has worked with more than 300 owners and entrepreneurs to find their highest and best use by solving problems that reach their most important goals. Compress decades of learning into days by working with Michael. Michael is famous in real estate and business coaching. With his help, you can accelerate your growth, increase your quality of life, and earn more money, all while ultimately doing less. Michael helps you not just grow your business, but also find new purpose in it and in your life. If you're ready to take control instead of being controlled, contact him on LinkedIn or email him at michaelh@paru.com.
We're more generally our personalities lend towards positivity and like survival. So I see it as an opportunity. If you
Mhm.
can be one of the people on the forefront of the new technology or the new system, then it's going to be good. It's going to be a good thing. And I think in
Yeah.
the end, I also more positive outlook. I think they want a good outcome. I think that most people want something good to happen. So I think it will. I view it as a positive thing. Obviously, there will be some downsides to it, and hopefully, the appraisers as a group can work together and make sure that we get what we need out of it, like fees and things like that. But what do you
I,
think?
I think long term, it's actually going to end up being a good thing.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that some of the more clerical and tedious stuff will go away and we can do more of what we do, like really get into the nitty gritty of
Yeah.
properties and the analysis and being able to present the analysis. In the short term, it's just going to be
Yeah.
a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of,
growing pains.
yeah, exactly. There's going to be a lot of growing pains. I do honestly believe long term, it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah. I saw someone's humorous reference. It had a little tinge of sarcasm. And I don't remember where I saw it, so I can't even offer a link to where it was because I would if I remembered it. But their humorous reference was contacting the POC and saying, "Hey, I was just coming by for the appraisal appointment, and I just want to know which day I can be at your house." And
Yeah.
then the homeowner has this like look of like
Yeah.
shock and awe and like total surprise and a bit an annoyance. And it's like, what? Like I thought the appraisal was supposed to take 30 minutes. And the
What
response
room
is,
will I be staying in?
Yep.
exactly. That's essentially what it was. It's like, no, we're setting up a small operation at your home.
Yeah.
Or
Hey, maybe
pro-
we-
it's outpatient. It's only a day. It's an
Yeah,
update.
exactly. You'll be okay.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. And sadly, possibly true.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Especially-
sadly, maybe a little bit.
It's
more
funny
true than we
because it's
want.
true.
yeah, it's funny because there's always a hint of truth in the sarcasms out there. Goodness. I know you all had mentioned just a little bit about splitting up responsibilities and what your all's experience so far, at least of what you've seen or what you've dealt with around 3.6. Because a lot of our listeners are commercial in nature and they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. We're not experiencing any of this stuff, but residential is going through this like massive shift. In one sense, it's all still the same, and that is we have the same approach towards valuing properties, but the reporting of it is changing completely with this whole what's referred to as UAD 3.6.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very different form, the dynamic form, as they call it. And we've had limited experience with it, but we were fortunate. We got to meet with Jake, Lou, at I think it's Avery.
AIVRE, yeah.
Yeah, I never pronounce it.
I think you pronounce this Ivory. Jake,
I think
apologize.
it's Ivory. Yeah, I believe it's
I got it
Ivory.
wrong. Just message me. I'll fix it.
But Jake and Brad walked us through it, and their form looks amazing. Like it does. Obviously, it's a lot more. There's more drop downs. There's more, but it kind of walks you through it, and then it'll let you know which ones aren't done, which fields you need to still fill in. And it's deeper. My biggest concern is I like to write a lot, like verbose, and he does too.
Yeah, I like to explain things in the addendum and things.
Like you said, you do word for commercial, you do word, so you can kind of have a narrative. Whereas in residential, it's broken up a lot, so it can be confusing. And I just want to make sure that there's more of the ability to do that in 3.6. That I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, yeah, that's helpful. I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Cool.
And have you all invested in sleeping bags yet, in case you do have to do an overnight at the homeowner's place?
Gosh, we need to. It's like I said, it's an interesting time. This just the kind of uncertainty is a kind of a thing that I've got from a lot of appraisers that I've talked to. Like just
especially the deadlines coming up.
Yeah, it seems like it's coming up quicker, and not enough has been hashed out yet. But we'll cross that bridge when it comes.
It shall be interesting to see if the go live date is truly a go live, or like an airplane flight. You're like, oh, there's a little delay.
Yeah, small delay.
I know your
flight is getting closer and closer to that moment.
Yeah,
push it out just a little bit more, kind of thing.
I think that might be one of them. I think it's 50-50 at this point.
Yeah, that would not surprise me.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting, and we shall all learn as it goes. But one thing you all could touch on that really would speak to a lot of people, our listeners, and those well beyond our listeners, is that whole experience of working with family, specifically siblings. A lot of times I'm in conversations as a member of an entrepreneur organization and talking to a spouse who has either chosen to work with or not to work with their spouse. And a lot of times the answer is no, but sometimes it's yes. Very infrequently do I come across a conversation about siblings working together, which I think is fantastic. Why is it that it works for you all? Are you telling us basically that only if you're semi-identical twins, then yes, it can work? Or is there some secret sauce in this that we can all learn from?
I bet it does help. We have because we have a similar thought process, because we have the similar work ethics. I bet that does make a difference.
Yeah, because we have another brother and he doesn't work here.
Yeah, but we also probably do our arguments and things like that. Disagreements are a little bit more heated than your average workplace because we're brother. I would assume. Who knows? We're pretty chill people in general. Yeah, but I would assume that
a little more blunt with someone with their brother than you would be with just a coworker.
Yeah,
I can totally get that. Recent experience you guys can share so we can really relate and draw near to you guys.
Let's see.
Whether it was like 5 minutes ago or 5 days ago.
Like coming home and like I'll have a report to do, and I'll be like, did you get this one so or so done? And he'd be like, no, I didn't. Like, what did you do all day? Something like that would be something you wouldn't say to your coworker, but you would say it to your brother.
Oh my gosh, I can only so humorously relate. I had an opportunity to leave corporate America. I actually did work with family. I got to work both with my dad and at one time one and even two of my siblings. And it was when you shared that, what came to my recollection was one particular, I don't remember what the topic was, but my dad and I were fiercely opposed in perspective, and it was very heated, and it even rattled the other people in the office on the leadership team. And then we went to lunch and then came back and kept working, and they're like, "That's weird. You can't do that." And I'm like, "You mean that's not normal?"
Yeah, exactly.
It really is. You just you're done with it and you move on and you go to the next thing.
Yeah, it is. It is different. I can appreciate that. But how do you all have a particular cooling off period or code words that you all use? Because people have an opportunity to learn from your experience about. Yes, those people closest to me may be the best associates or allies, or maybe not because of your own experiences that you share.
It probably really does depend on the relationship and the people. We, like I said, in general, we're pretty chill and positive people. So I think we just really don't really cool off. We just
disagree to disagree.
Yeah,
like
disagree and move on.
I think when you get to a certain age, you just go, this is what I think, and if you don't agree, you don't agree. Like you can
on major things we typically agree.
Yeah.
Like business, things like that. It's normally just little disagreements and stuff. We've not run into something major that I can remember.
I think it would be more difficult, I don't know, to work with a spouse.
Yeah, I think so too.
I would think that would be harder, but I don't have the experience. So.
Yeah, in the same exact thing, obviously.
I'm
sure. I know there's a lot of people with schedule appointments or things like that. Yeah. But in both being appraisers and both doing the same thing may be awkward, but I don't have any experience with that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing that. That is indeed insightful. And then we would also, just curious, inquiring minds have an interest piqued by the reference that there is another Curd. The herd is larger than Gavin and Taylor. So is that family member older or younger than you guys?
He's younger, yep.
Younger brother.
Okay. And he escaped the appraisal business?
Totally different direction.
Yeah. He did flavoring, and then he worked for a beer company. He does a lot of chemistry, basically. Anything involving chemistry, but mostly he did flavoring for a while, and then brewing for a while.
And now he's been to another big flavoring company.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Fascinating. Wow.
But he still lives in Green. He still lives close to us. We're all very close, but he just went a different way.
Never interested. We told him, we're like, you're welcome to work with us. And he said, nope, no, thank you. Okay.
Now, did he also go to IU?
No, he went to the enemy.
He went to Purdue.
Oh.
He's different than us.
We are house divided.
Yep.
My brother was a boiler.
The basketball, they're doing okay. The football, not so much.
Not so much. Been a basketball school for quite a while there.
Yeah.
As long as they don't bow out of the March Madness early again.
They've had some rough ones.
Yeah. My brother doesn't like
He's not been happy lately. Oh, okay.
I don't bring that one up. It's just, it's not fun and it's not fair. It's just like, all right, and I don't really want to talk to you if that's what you're going to talk about. I'm like, I don't really care. So, like I said, bygones be bygones and move on from there. Oh, my goodness. So, Gavin, from your perspective, when you look at where you and Taylor are at this point, you've shared a little bit about the changing landscape in terms of the technology that's coming into place, about the reporting of the data. What's your outlook 3 to 5 years from now? What are you optimistic or hopeful about?
Really, I'm hopeful, obviously, that we get over this hump, and that it becomes basically as commonplace as it is now to feel comfortable with the report, with finishing reports, with doing it. And hopefully, the one big thing I was hoping for is appraisers as a group, maybe to get a little bit more cohesive and to have a voice in the community, in the actual business. Because I feel like we have a very good group of people. Appraisers, every appraiser I've ever met's great, but having a cohesive idea and an argument to make, just to fight for ourselves in the process, in the fees and the discussions. That's one major thing I would like to see in the future.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and thanks for sharing that. It makes a difference. I remember one of the first times, can't remember, I think it was I went to one of the National Association of Realtors annual meetings, and there was a person offering some perspective on the amount of political contributions that come from both the National Association of Realtors and the Mortgage Brokers Association. And like the word dwarf in relationship to monetary size wasn't even an appropriate measure or relationship between the amount of political monies raised in the appraisal space versus the National Association of Realtors and the Mortgage Brokers Association. It was just, I guess, the difference between looking at a newborn and a full-grown adult. It's just like they're not even, almost not comparable, except they both have heartbeats kind of thing. And you're like, to your point,
I wish there were more people arguing for the appraisers' stance in the whole process.
Yeah. They're the ones that are supposed to stand there for independence. Why aren't you investing more in making that happen as opposed seemingly, not always, and there's a lot of advocates there. But I was just chatting with one of the chairs of the chair of one of the property committees in the National Association of Realtors, and I appreciate the work they did, but not everybody over there is all excited about the appraisers.
Yeah.
I mean, we're an odd man out in the sense that we don't get paid for the transaction to close. Like
we're the independent party, and we need to work together because there's no one really backing us at this point.
Yeah. Gavin, I think Taylor and I'd agree. We'd be happy to back you. We'll give you all the moral support you need.
I appreciate it.
You got 2.
Yep.
Yeah, we got 2.
Hey, that's all we need. We got to start.
Oh my goodness. That's always such a pleasure to get together with peers and share some perspective. Gavin, given your experience as a sibling in a family business, still relatively young in the industry and having an optimistic outlook, where do you hope to be? Not a normal question we get to ask, but where do you hope to be in say 10 years from now?
I still see myself appraising at least a little bit, but more on the investment side. Where our future plans is more on the investment side, and I still like to flip properties a little more than he does, but we want to do long-term holds for the most part. But that's much more where our plan is in the future.
Yeah, love that. And that's a wonderful segue to season 13. We're looking forward to having you guys in our another one of our special seasons where we invite our peers who have as I say, a penchant for or desire to be someone who is investing. I share that same interest and belief and benefit from both short-term and long-term investing. There's no better way to build your wealth while you're building your knowledge and building your paycheck.
Yeah, and for appraisers, we have such a great opportunity because we have all the tools for a lot of the part that people often make a mistake on. The buying and the selling. The valuation at those 2 points is very important. So you're in it. Yeah, you're in it all the time. You're in the market. So it's a natural thing for when you want to retire or do anything to invest. It's awesome.
Absolutely agree. Love that. I appreciate you guys joining us for this special family episode here in Perusing's Appraisers on Purpose podcast, and looking forward to our season 13 episode when we get a lot more detail into the investing. And as you touched on it, Taylor, who better to be the wealthiest person in a property matter than the real estate appraiser? I mean, goodness gracious, you got all the training and all the exposure.
Everything. Yep.
They invite you into the property and let you, as they say in the South where I'm from, kick the tires. You get to see all that stuff.
Yep.
What a difference that makes. Guys, I really appreciate it. And friends, as I mentioned to you, I knew you're going to love it. So make sure to double like the Curd Herd here on our special family experience here of Perusing's Appraisers on Purpose podcast. Taylor, Gavin, Taylor, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Perusing's Appraisers on Purpose. We hope you enjoyed learning from the amazing professional paths and achievements of our beloved guests. Before we go, please subscribe on your listening channel, Spotify, LinkedIn, YouTube, and other podcast channels to hear more from appraisers and valuers regarding their life and their work. After you drop a comment below, who is one friend and peer you can generously share this episode with? If you have any suggestions or questions for future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. Just send us a message on LinkedIn and we'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks again for listening, and until we're together again for the next session of Perusing's Appraisers on Purpose, create the change that you seek.